Have you ever noticed how the men who appear the least affected are the ones women can't seem to forget? It's curious, isn't it? The quieter he becomes, the more she wonders what occupies his mind. The less he chases, the more she starts revisiting his stories, recalling his words, and replaying every subtle moment they shared. It's not magic. It's not manipulation. It's emotional gravity, and it's built through Stoic principles most men overlook entirely. Today, I'll share 4 powerful Stoic principles that make a woman miss you profoundly. Not because you played games, but because your composure speaks louder than her emotions ever could. Stay until the end, because once you grasp this, you'll never have to chase again. First, control your response, not her reaction. There's a fascinating shift that happens when a man stops trying to make her miss him. That's usually when she actually does. Most men get trapped in a cycle of reaction, responding to her every move like clockwork. She doesn't text for a few hours, and suddenly he's restless, checking his phone, overanalyzing every word he sent. He convinces himself she's slipping away, so he tries to fix it, sends another text, likes her new post, or looks for a way to remind her he's still there. But here, what Stoicism teaches: control what's within, not what's outside. Her reactions are not yours to command. Your emotions are. There's a quiet power that comes when you stop reacting to every emotional fluctuation. When she pulls away, you stay still. When she tests you, you remain composed. You don't explode, beg, or shrink, you breathe. Because calm under pressure instantly sets you apart from nearly every other man. Most panic under emotional stress. A Stoic man observes it. Imagine this, she grows distant. A reactive man asks, "What's wrong? Did I do something?" A Stoic man gives her space, not from pride, but from understanding that sometimes no reaction is the strongest one. That's when she starts feeling your absence in a new way. She's used to men over-explaining, apologizing, or seeking approval. But your silence unsettles her, because calm men are unreadable men. Your emotional stillness becomes a mystery, and what we can't decode, we dwell on. So instead of dissecting her behavior, redirect that focus inward. Work out, read, write, learn not to distract yourself, but to prove that your stability doesn't depend on her attention. She'll feel the shift. She'll notice that her approval no longer drives you. And that's when she'll start asking, why doesn't he care like before? Did I lose him? That's the quiet victory of Stoicism. You didn't play games. You just mastered yourself while she lost her balance. Control your response, not her reaction, because emotional discipline will always outshine emotional dependency. Second, withdraw without resentment. Let's talk about the art of stepping back. Not from anger, but from grace. Many men misunderstand this part. They think walking away means ghosting her, posting cryptic quotes, or pretending she never mattered. That's not strength, that's pain disguised as power. A Stoic man doesn't disappear to prove a point. He withdraws because his peace matters more than her attention. True withdrawal isn't about punishment, it's about preservation. It's the calm decision to stop investing in what no longer reciprocates. No drama, no emotional theatrics, just distance with dignity. When you pull back without bitterness, your silence carries weight. It doesn't feel like rejection. It feels like revelation. She begins to wonder, why isn't he fighting? Why isn't he trying? And that quiet confusion draws her in because she expected you to plead, to explain, to justify. Instead, you walked away like a man at peace with any outcome. That's power. That's rare. And that's unforgettable. Women don't miss men who argue. They miss men who once cared deeply, but stopped needing to explain why. When you withdraw with calm certainty, you leave behind an emptiness she can't replace. She'll revisit your messages, your voice, your moments, searching for traces of the man who stopped reaching out. That's emotional contrast. She only grasps your value when she no longer feels your presence. But don't confuse withdrawal with coldness. You're not avoiding her out of spite, you're choosing yourself out of wisdom. If she calls, answer with composure. If she reaches out, respond with peace. No bitterness, no hostility, just quiet self-respect. This is Stoicism in relationships, detachment wrapped in kindness. You don't chase, you don't vanish. You simply let go with elegance. And that elegance lingers because when most men either beg or block, your calm will stand out. She'll start missing the man who walked away not to wound her, but to restore himself. Withdraw not from ego, but from clarity, because nothing creates more longing than peaceful strength. Third, master the art of presence before absence. Here, what most men never understand. She won't miss you simply because you're gone. She'll miss you because your presence meant something when you were there. A man half distracted and half engaged is forgettable, but a man fully present, even briefly, is unforgettable. When you talk, listen as if it's the last time. When she speaks, look at her as if she's worth understanding, not fixing. When you touch, let it be calm, intentional, and sincere. That's presence, the art of being grounded and emotionally tuned in. And here's the paradox. The stronger your presence, the deeper your absence will echo. She can't miss what never felt real. She can only long for what once did. When you step away, she feels the silence like the end of a song, the quiet that follows connection. She replays your tone, your scent, your laughter. That's emotional imprinting. But most men rush to fill that silence. They text too soon, post to get noticed, or try to prove they've moved on. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Let the silence breathe. Absence isn't about being unavailable, it's about being valuable enough that your stillness speaks. You're not playing mysterious, you're living with purpose. When you show up fully, then withdraw intentionally, it creates emotional tension. And tension fuels attraction. That's why grounded presence is magnetic. Your presence creates feeling, and your absence magnifies it. So next time you're with her, don't overthink your words. Just be authentic, attentive, and calm. Because when she leaves, she won't remember every sentence. She'll remember how you made her feel. That's how true presence becomes lasting desire. Fourth, value yourself above her attention. Let's be honest. If her attention still dictates your peace, you haven't mastered yourself yet. A stoic man doesn't crave validation. He seeks alignment. Women are drawn to men whose energy cannot be easily shaken. A man who doesn't beg for replies. Who remains centered in chaos. That's rare. When you start prioritizing growth, discipline, and standards, you stop chasing energy that doesn't match yours. And paradoxically, that's when her energy begins to follow yours because she feels that shift. You're not resentful. You're just done letting her define your worth. Stoicism teaches self-mastery, knowing what's yours to carry and what's not. Her moods, not yours. Her silence, not your burden. Your peace, entirely yours. When you live this way, something in her changes. She feels your detachment, not cold, but calm. She senses that you no longer rely on her attention to feel whole. And that's when she begins to miss you because you've stopped orbiting around her and built your own gravity. Here, what most men overlook, the more you chase, the less she values your presence. The more you stand firm in your peace, the more she respects your energy. So stop asking, will she return? And start asking, am I living like a man worth returning to? Women don't crave the man who texts the most. They crave the man who's most grounded in himself. When you value your peace over her attention, she'll start fighting for both. That's when you realize silence, calm, and purpose speak louder than any words you could say. You don't need to chase her. You don't need to prove yourself through effort or emotion. Because truthfully, a woman doesn't miss the man who pleads for attention. She misses the one who gave her peace, then took it away quietly. She misses how your silence carried more weight than her words. How you walked away not in anger, not in noise, but in quiet certainty. That kind of man doesn't just leave a mark, he leaves an echo. So remember this, a stoic man doesn't withdraw to punish, he withdraws to protect. He knows that when his energy goes silent, she finally understands what his presence once meant. And when the noise fades, and the phone stops lighting up, she'll realize what she truly misses isn't your messages, it's your peace. Now before you go, if this message resonated, take a moment, like the video, share your favorite principle in the comments, and subscribe. Because this is only the beginning. You're not losing her,